Welcome to the Lectric Service Center. If you're watching this video, that probably means that you just received your new Lectric XPress and you are ready to unbox it. Today, we'll be going over how to unbox and set up your Lectric XPress. A quick note, there are two different frame shapes and two different motor sizes for the Lectric XPress. You can get both models with either a 500 watt motor or a 750 watt motor. Although the frame and motor sizes might be a little bit different depending on your bike, the unboxing process will be exactly the same. Today, we'll be unboxing and setting up a 750 watt high-step Lectric XPress. But before we begin, you'll need to make sure you have some tools ready to go. You will need a 17mm long socket, a 5mm hex socket, a 3mm hex socket, a 14mm socket, a 2.5mm hex wrench, and a 3mm hex wrench. You will also need a box cutter, a hand ratchet, torque wrenches, isopropyl alcohol, shop rags, and an air pump. We prefer to use the Lectric e-bike's electric air pump. Don't worry about remembering all these tools and items, as we will be sure to remind you of what tools are needed before each section. The Lectric XPress weighs 89 pounds in box, so we recommend using a friend to help you carry the bike to where you will be unboxing it. On all four sides of the box, there will be handles punched out to help make carrying easier. Thanks, Tony. For this section, you will need a box cutter. Along the top and the sides of the box, there is tape that is holding the box together. Use a box cutter to slice the tape all along the top and down the sides of the box. Throughout the box, there are steps printed on the flaps to help guide you along the unboxing process. Following step 1, pull the tabs out of the holes on the top of the box. Then, pull the flap up. Be careful when doing so though, as there might be staples holding the flap down. Now, following step 2, pull the tabs out from both sides of the box. Now that the front of the box is free, let it fall to the ground, exposing your Lectric XPress. A note, your Lectric XPress might look a little bit different depending on accessories that were purchased with the bike, but the unboxing process will be the same. Inside the box, there is a number of smaller boxes. Some of these boxes are packing material, and some of them have items in them for the bike setup. An interesting note, all the packing material used is green packing material and can be recycled. If you would like, use a friend to help you hold the bike steady as you remove the packing material. The box sitting atop the rear wheel is packing material and can be thrown away. The box lying over the stem of the Express is also packing material and can be thrown away. There is a box covering the headlight of the Express. This can be removed and thrown away. There is another box behind the handlebars. This is also packing material and can be thrown away. Under the handlebars, there is a box containing a charger, along with your pedals, and a bag with the replacement parts in it. Make sure to remove this and set it aside for now. Finally, below that box will either be packing material or an extra battery if you purchased it with your Express. You will know it is an extra battery if you see the yellow sticker that has "battery in box" printed on it. If it has this sticker, remove it and set it aside. If the box does not have that sticker, you can remove it and throw it away. Now you can remove all accessible packing material that is attached to the bike. The packing material is held on by tape that will be easy to rip and detach, but if you need some extra help, you can use a sharp object to cut the tape. Just make sure not to touch the bike with the sharp object, as that might scratch that shiny new paint. Around the bike, you will notice a number of yellow tags. These are safety tags. Make sure not to remove these, as we'll be going over them later in the video. Once you get to the front fork, you'll see that there is a large card regarding the installation of the front wheel. We'll be covering the front wheel installation later in this video, but we recommend keeping this card handy for future reference. Behind the frame of the bike, there is a large box containing the front wheel. Lean the bike forward, pull that box out, and set it aside for now. Continue removing the rest of the packing material. Attached to the rear wheel is a stabilization shock. It is used to stabilize the bike inside the box during the shipping process. Remove this and throw it away. The box sitting under the rear wheel is also a stabilization shock. Remove that and throw it away. Now that the bike is completely free within the box, you can lift it out and get rid of the box. Thanks again, Tony. Let's begin the process of setting up your Lectric XPress. First, we will be installing the front wheel. To start, remove the wheel from its box. Then, remove the plastic cover from the brake rotor. Then flip the wheel over and remove the dust cap from the axle bolt. Check to make sure that both axle caps are in place. If they are not, please contact our customer support team before going on your first ride. Now, down at the brake caliper connected to your fork, remove the plastic covering from the caliper. Then, remove the caliper shim. We recommend keeping this shim handy in case you ever need to remove the front wheel. The front wheel is held on by a through axle. This makes installation and removal fast and simple. To remove the through axle, place the lever in the cutout notch at the end of the through axle. Then turn it counterclockwise until you are able to pull it out fully from the dropouts. Now, have a friend lift the front of the bike high enough so the dropouts are higher than the axle of the wheel. Roll the wheel into place so that the axle holes and the holes of both dropouts line up. Make sure that when rolling the wheel into place, you are careful not to bump the brake rotor into the brake caliper. Once the wheel is seated into the dropouts, insert the through axle so that the lever is on the opposite side of the brake caliper. Then place the lever into the cutout notch and turn the lever clockwise until you are unable to turn it anymore. When the through axle is tight, make sure that the lever is oriented either parallel to the front fork, like this, or facing backwards, like this. This will ensure that the lever will not catch on anything as you are riding your Express. Now that the front wheel is on, go ahead and kick down the kickstand so the bike will stand up on its own. Before we move on, it is important to take note of the serial number on your bike. The serial number is stamped onto the front of the head tube. We recommend using this serial number to register your bike on bikeindex.org in the case that your bike is lost or stolen. It is also a good idea to keep this serial number on hand if you ever need to contact our customer support team. Connected to the handlebars is a set of keys. These are the keys that will turn on the bike. You also need these keys to remove the battery from the frame of the bike. Untie the keys from the handlebars and insert one of the keys into the keyhole on the non-drive side of the bike. Turn the key counterclockwise and the battery will unlock. You will know it is unlocked when the top of the battery pops out of the frame. In order to fully remove it from the frame though, press the button on the underside of the battery and the battery should fall out of place. Now, inside the small box labeled Charger and Box is your pedals, a bag with replacement parts in it, and another small box containing the battery charger. You can set everything aside except for the battery charger box. The smaller box that is labeled Charger contains, you guessed it, the battery charger. The battery charger comes in two parts, the charger adapter and the wall plug. Plug the wall plug into the charger adapter, then plug the charger into the charge port on the side of the battery. Now, plug the charger into a wall outlet. When you plug the charger into a wall outlet, the light on the charger will flash green, then turn red. This means that the battery is charging. Once the battery is done charging, the light will turn green again. Charging a battery when it is completely dead can take up to 6 hours, but Lectric sends its batteries half charged, so charging your battery to full for the first time shouldn't take as long. Alternatively, you can charge the battery while it's still inserted into the frame of the bike. Simply follow the steps of charging your battery while the battery is inserted into the frame of the bike. Let's go ahead and continue setting up your Express while your battery charges. On the front of the handlebars, you will notice a number of cables that are feeding back into the frame of the bike. You will also notice that one of these cables is unplugged. This cable is the display cable, and it is unplugged to prevent power drain during the shipping process. This cable will need to be connected in order for you to turn on your bike. To connect the quick plugs, line the arrows up on both ends, then push the quick plugs together. Make sure to push them in straight and not to twist them, as twisting them may damage the pins inside. You will know you plugged them in fully when you hear a click and you no longer see the green color from the inside. The Lectric XPress has quick release pedals, making pedal installation a breeze. On each pedal, there is an R or an L stamped onto them. This signifies which side of the bike the pedal is to be installed on. The pedal with the R stamped on it is to be installed on the drive side of the bike, or the side of the bike that has the chain on it. To install the pedal, place the stem of the pedal into the collar clamp on the end of the crank. Pull the collar lock out while applying pressure to the pedal, then release the collar lock. This will lock the pedal into place. Give the pedal a tug to make sure that it is firmly locked into place. Now repeat this process on the other pedal. The L on the pedal signifies that it is to be installed on the non-drive side of the bike, or the side of the bike that does not have the chain. To install the pedal, place the pedal stem into the collar lock, pull the collar lock while applying pressure to the pedal, then let go of the collar lock. This will lock the pedal into place. Again, give it a tug to make sure that it is firmly locked into place. For this section, you will need an air pump. Now, you might notice that your Express is not totally stable. Pumping up the tires will help with this. On the sidewall of your tire, you will find the recommended PSI to pump your tires up to. The recommended PSI for the Lectric XPress is from 35 to 65 PSI. Today, we'll be pumping up our tires to 35 PSI. Find the air valve and unscrew the valve cap. Place the air pump nozzle on the valve. Set your PSI on your electric air pump, then begin to pump up your tires. Once the tire is filled up, remove the air pump and screw the valve cap back on. Repeat this process on the other tire. Let's talk about the yellow safety tags that are connected to different parts of the bike. These tags have information on them regarding the safety of the bike. Along with that is a QR code that you can scan that will take you to the user's manual, where you will find more safety information on the Express, as well as all general information you may need. Once you are familiar with the information on the safety tags and the information in the user's manual, you can go ahead and remove all the safety tags off of the bike. For this section, you will need a small and large torque wrench, a 17mm long socket, and a 5mm hex socket. Now we will go ahead and check the torque values of some of the components around the bike to ensure that the bike is safe and ready to ride. First, up at the handlebars, using a small torque wrench and a 5mm hex socket, torque both brake levers down to 5 Nm. The next step will look a little bit different depending on the model of Express you have. We will be torquing down the pinch bolts and clamp bolts on the high step model, and torquing down the pinch bolts and latch bolt on the step through model. Let's start with the high step model. Torque the 2 pinch bolts on either side of the steer tube down to 10 Nm. Then, on the front of the handlebar clamp, torque the bolts down to 5 Nm. Now, if you're setting up a step-through model, again, torque the pinch bolts down on either side of the steer tube to 12 Newton meters. Then, while the handlebar adjustment latch is closed, torque the latch bolt down to 15 Newton meters. Now, down at the rear axle, use a large torque wrench and a 17mm long socket to make sure both axle nuts are torqued down to 35 Newton meters. For this section, you will need isopropyl alcohol and shop rags. First, up at the brake levers, pull on them to make sure that they are not touching your fingers or the grips. Next, perform a rock test by pulling both brake levers and rocking the bike forward and backwards. The bike should stay put. If the bike moves or the brake levers touch the grips or your fingers, you may need to perform a brake adjustment. Watch this hydraulic brake adjustment video on Lectric eBike's YouTube channel to learn how to do that. Finally, down at the brake rotors, using isopropyl alcohol and shop rags or a paper towel, clean the brake rotors. This will get rid of any dirt or debris that might have contaminated the rotors during the shipping process. Spray some isopropyl alcohol on a rag and wipe the rotor. Make sure to spin the wheel in order to get the whole rotor. Next, you will want to check the seat tube collar lock. If the seat post twists or moves up, you will need to tighten the collar lock. Open the collar. Twist the knob at the base clockwise a couple of turns, but not too many that you will be unable to close the collar. Then close the collar. The lever should leave an imprint in your hand. Pull on the saddle while twisting it again to make sure that the collar lock is tight enough. The final safety check you should perform is simply a visual inspection. Take a close inspection of the bike and check for anything that doesn't seem right. If something seems wrong or is out of place, please contact our customer support team before going on your first ride. For this section, you'll need a hand ratchet, a 14mm socket, a 2.5mm hex wrench, a 3mm hex wrench, a torque wrench, and a 3mm hex socket. If you would like to adjust the angle of your saddle, you can do so by loosening the bolts on the rails under the saddle using a hand ratchet and a 14mm socket. Adjust the seat to a safe and comfortable position. Then tighten the 14mm bolts back down. Now you will want to adjust the display to a comfortable position. There are 4 3mm bolts that will need to be loosened in order to adjust the display. The 2 bolts at the mounting brackets and the 2 bolts at the top of the mounting brackets that attach the display to those brackets. Loosen all 4 bolts slightly. Adjust the display to a comfortable position. Then tighten all 4 bolts back down. If you would like, you can also adjust the angle of the button pad. Loosen the bolt on the mounting bracket on the bottom of the button pad with a 2.5mm hex wrench, adjust it to a comfortable position, then tighten the bolt back down. Finally, if you would like to adjust the angle of the thumb throttle, do so by loosening the bolt on the mounting bracket using a 3mm hex wrench. Adjust it to a comfortable position, then tighten it back down. Make sure to torque it down to 1 Nm with a torque wrench and a 3mm hex socket. Now that your bike is checked for safety and adjusted for a safe ride, let's prepare for your first ride. Once the battery is done charging, unplug it from the charger. Let's take a look at it before installing it back into the bike to make sure that we install it correctly. When looking at the battery, you will notice that on one end, there is a button you can press that will cause a light to illuminate. This light will either illuminate blue, green, or red. These lights signify your battery level. The end of the battery with the button and the light on it is the end of the battery that will be closest to the handlebars of the bike when it is installed into the frame. To insert the battery, you will not need the key, but you will need the key to remove the battery if needed later. Place the end of the battery without the light into the back side of the down tube. Then push the front end of the battery into the frame of the bike. The battery will lock into place, but it is not quite seated yet. To seat the battery fully, you will need to push the battery completely into the frame. We find it easier to wrap your hand around the top of the frame with both hands. Then, press the battery into the frame. You will know the battery is fully seated into the frame of the bike when the battery is flush with the underside of the down tube. Once the battery is installed into the bike, you will be able to turn it on using the button pad at the handlebars. The button pad has 3 buttons, the power button, and the plus and minus buttons. To turn the bike on, hold the power button for 3 seconds and make sure the display turns on. When on, you will see some information that is being displayed. At the top, there is your estimated battery level. Below that is the power output in wattage. Below that is the speedometer. Below that is your pedal assist level. And below that is a data field that can be changed by tapping the power button. It will default to odometer, but when you tap the power button, it will change to your trip odometer, the battery voltage, battery current, and current trip time. With the button pad, you can access the settings of your bike. Hold the plus and minus buttons simultaneously, and you will be taken to a screen that reads P01. This means that you are in the settings menu. You can change the settings page by tapping the power button, and change the actual setting by tapping the plus or minus buttons. If you would like more detail about the default settings, please watch the Default Settings Service Center video on Lectric e-Bike's YouTube channel. Also on the button pad, you can toggle on and off the front and rear lights. Simply hold the plus button for 3 seconds and the lights will illuminate. You will know they are on when you see the green light icon come up on the display. To turn the lights off, simply hold the plus button again for 3 seconds. The plus and minus buttons also control the pedal assist levels when you are on the home screen. You can press the plus button to raise the pedal assist level and the minus button to lower the pedal assist level. All electric e-bikes come standard with 5 levels of pedal assist. The pedal assist will activate when the display is set to level 1 through 5 and the crank arms begin to rotate. The motor will turn on to help you while you pedal, to maybe get up a hill or make pedaling a little bit easier when you need it to. The Lectric XPress features a torque sensor system. Each pedal assist level is now regulated by power multiplication and speed. This new system applies to pedaling, while the throttle follows the PWR assistance levels, unless unlocked in P22. Consult your user's manual to learn more about the P22 setting. In Pedal Assist 1, there is the least amount of assistance. While riding in Pedal Assist 1, you will feel light onset of power for more controlled takeoffs. In Pedal Assist 5, there is more power. While riding in Pedal Assist 5, you will feel strong onset of power with full torque for a fast and intense experience. When you are in Pedal Assist 1 on the beginner mode, your bike will get 20% of the watts of input power assistance and will cap the speed at 9 miles per hour. On Pedal Assist 2, your bike will get 80% of the watts of input power assistance and will remain capped at 15 miles per hour. In Pedal Assist 3, your bike will get 150% of the watts of input power assistance and will remain capped at 20 miles per hour. When you are in Pedal Assist 4, your bike will get 300% of the watts of input power assistance and will remain capped at 20 miles per hour. And in Pedal Assist 5, your bike will get 500% of the watts of input power assistance and will remain capped at 20 miles per hour. If you would like to unlock your bike to reach a cap of 28 miles per hour, making it a Class 3 e-bike, enter the settings and cycle to page 8 of the settings. Once there, press the plus button to change from 32 to 45. Before doing this, make sure to check your local laws on what class of e-bike is allowed in your state. Along with pedal assist, there is also a throttle that will give you power without the need of pedaling. The throttle will only activate when you are in Pedal Assist 1 through 5. For safety, the throttle will not activate if you are in Pedal Assist 0. Above the throttle, there is a gear shifter, but we will go over that later in the video. Now that your Lectric XPress has been unboxed, set up, and checked for safety, we can head out on your first ride. Now that we're outside, we will go over how to size up your bike, the front suspension, and how to ride your bike. First, let's size up your Express. To size up your saddle height, unlock the collar lock and pull up on the seat post. Make sure when sizing up your saddle, you do not pass the minimum insertion point. Pull the seat up to right about your hip bone. This is a good general height for the saddle, but ultimately, it is up to personal preference. Once you find a good height for your saddle, lock the seat tube collar lock back down. Now, let's take a look at the suspension. Your Lectric XPress comes with a TC80 suspension fork with 80mm of travel that can be adjusted to your riding style. On the right side of the fork is your lockout adjustment. If you would like your ride to be stiffer and more rigid, you will turn the dial clockwise. This can be used on smoother terrain like pavement or smooth trail. If you would like a bit more suspension travel and cushion, you will turn the dial counterclockwise. On the left side is the preload dial. This adjustment adds or decreases tension on the fork spring. This adjustment can be tailored to every rider differently. To make the front end stiffer and harder to compress, turn the dial clockwise. To make the front end softer and easier to compress, turn the dial counterclockwise. The bike will come out of the box with the preload in the lightest setting. Now, to mount your bike, first, make sure that you have a helmet on. Swing your leg over the frame, kick up the kickstand, plant your foot on the pedal, then push off and place your other foot on the other pedal. We always recommend starting your ride in pedal assist 0 and in the lowest and easiest gear. Once you are comfortable in the lowest and easiest gear, you can start to shift up and down to find the ideal gear for your ride. To shift up, making the ride a little bit more challenging, press the plus button on the front of the shifter. And to shift down, making the ride a little bit easier, press the top lever on the shifter. Once you find the ideal gear, you can start introducing some assistance from pedal assist. When you get the hang of riding your Lectric XPress, you can change your gears and pedal assist levels throughout your ride to find the best riding experience in any situation. And once you are ready, you can use the thumb throttle and relax your legs a bit. Thanks for riding with us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our customer support team at contact@lectricebikes.com or give us a call at 602-715-0907. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you out there.